Yes. Carry me back in my mama country. Carry me back in my mama country. Carry me back home. Africa, I want to go back home. Africa, say a tired room. Just give me the plane passage because I'm going home back. Go back to Africa to see my grandmother. Yes, that was back in times here. The Buxton Passage, That was over 20-something years ago. I know it was in Washington, D.C. On the drums there, Mboya from Buxton, brother Mboya on the drums, and the rest of us doing our thing. That was when I had a hair on my head. Carry me back to my mama country, carry me back home. Welcome to Politics 101, the drums. When the drums are rolling, it means that we are on the move, and we have always been on the move. Doing our thing there, I think it might have been a wedding eve, Kwekwe night. But we mix up the thing, a little bit of Kwekwe, a little bit of Nancy, a little bit of spirituals and so on. Naime, them Jokabaya, Naime, them Jokabaya, Naime. Good evening to all of you all. Good evening to all the Buxtoners. See, Danet, those are the days, Kakali. Good evening to all of you. Good evening to all of you. We have always had that part of our instinct going back to Africa. We've always yearned from Africa. When some Africans were here last year, I think it was, African kings and queens came to visit Guyana, and we had them all over Guyana, but they came to Buxton, and we reminded them that we never left Africa. Africa was always part of us, and we were able to give them some real Africa. And my God, those people got up and they started to dance and sing. We did some Swahili songs for them, and they were some South Africans, and my God, they eye opened big. And we let them know that we in this part of the world, in the diaspora, we never left Africa. We always yearned for Africa. And we made Africa. We made here where we are, Africa. Good evening to all of you. We're going to be joined by Rickford Burke in a couple of minutes. As you know, the government has stretched its long arms, continuing to harass Rickford. Rickford is going to be here in a minute to walk us through what exactly happened. We have the police force giving us their version of what happened. I saw Mr. Jack Deal, weighing in today on what he thinks happened, and then of course Rickford's version. We're going to get Rickford to talk about that. But just like to welcome all of you to Politics 101 tonight on a Thursday night. We're getting closer to Christmas, and I know we're all caught up caught up in the Christmas season. It's traditional. It's traditional. Christmas is more than just religion. It's more than just a Christian thing. It's traditional. It's that time of year when we get together and remind ourselves that we are here and another year has come, celebrating the birth of Christ. But more than that, it is a significance of the event. Welcome to Politics 101. We opened up, of course, with the drums and song. Drums and song. Jokabai and Naime, Jokabai. We've had long relations with the Joka because remember, Borbis was very much near to what is now Suriname, and only recently the brothers told us, Eric Phillips and others, that they have discovered that the descendants of Kofi, the hero of the 1763 revolution, that they have located them in Suriname, no doubt among the Jokas. And we remember the Jokas coming to Buxton. I was a young boy at that time, and they were masterful. So we've always had good relations, and there were always people coming over from Suriname to settle in Guyana, and people, of course, going from Suriname to Guyana. One family in Buxton, we call them Dutchy, because the father came from Dutch Guyana, and to this day they call them Dutchy. Good evening to all of you. We are going to be joined by Rickford Burke shortly. On the drums is Mboya, master drummer from
London John, you ready to knock your things up?
You are too bad. You are too bad. You are too bad. You are hitting on the Bartica woman. Wow. Quick time. Bartica woman, Bobby Lang like a lang down. Bobby Lang, she batty lang like a dang. 10-yard flower bag of hold up. Good evening. We're waiting on Rickford Burke. Who is joining us any moment now. You all very bad. And aspiring you all tonight. Rickford Burke is backstage. He's ready for us. Aspiring you all. All right. Enough. We're going to do a special program on Kwekwe. And I'm going to get the Kwekwe giants to come on. And we're going to dance Kwekwe and talk Kwekwe. I know you'll be lying down there. Beg your pardon, and Joe. Hey, good evening to all of you, whether you're joining us from Guyana or you're joining us from outside of Guyana. Yes, it's Politics 101. We're enjoying ourselves tonight with a little bit of quick way. Nene, I know you've been lying down there. Beg your pardon, no, me, Nene Joe. Beg your pardon, no, me, Nene Joe. The little boy walk on it. This is not for polite company. This is not for polite company. You know, back in those days when you dancing quick in the village or you play Nancy and Quayana wrong, you know, you you can't use the bad word them and you can't do the thing them. So when you're ready to use the bad word and Quayana do, you turn your back. Oh boy. Our gift to the world. You know, quick way is unique to Guyana as far as the diaspora is concerned. Our foreparents brought it with us, Kakali, and they brought it with them when they came across the Atlantic. Then they came through the Middle Passage in those horrendous circumstances. They brought it with them, and it survived. It survived in Guyana. Nowhere else in the diaspora the Kwekwe survived, but in Guyana. It's one of the things I guess the anthropologists will have to investigate. Why in Guyana and not in other parts of the diaspora? So that the Kwekwe is unique to Guyana, just as the village movement is unique to Guyana. We're waiting on Rickford Burke. He seems to be having some technical problems tonight, but I think he's here. The Kwekwe survived only in Guyana, and of course we take it to another level. You know, it went from Kakali to Kwekwe, and then of course back to Kakali, and so forth. And it's there. It used to be, you know, they used to do it for 7 days. You know, the Kwekwe, Kakali used to start 7 days in advance. 7 days in advance, and then, you know, it reduced to the night before the wedding eve. But it's unique to our Guyana. And you go to all the villages, there are the variations of Kwekwe. And I remember we had a group called Tuteshinda in Buxton, and we would go all across the country dancing Kwekwe. And, you know, whenever you go to a village, there are always some Kwekwe songs that you never hear that are unique to those villages. I remember years ago we went to Firish, my God, and there was an old lady there, she was close to 100 years. When she licked me some song, I remember she said, over by ye, over gala come, over by ye. Well, we had never heard that one. And she gave us a lesson on Kwekwe. We were able to add that to our repertoire. Firish, we had a very, very good time at Firish back there. In those days, mosquito tearing your tail, but you gone down there, you know. And we really learned a lot from that old woman in Firish. But of course, West Coast Bobbies was always the Mecca. We enjoyed going to West Coast Bobbies to dance Kwekwe. But we in Buxton still keep the tradition, and very nice. When you go back to the village, you go to wedding eve, and they're now playing one-man band and all those things. But in Buxton, we still do Kwekwe. And I'm old now, so the younger men would invite me to do what they call a guest appearance, you know, do 2-3 songs, because they have taken the thing to another level. And it's one of the good things about our country. All right, I think Rickford Burke is here. Let's go. Brother Rickford, good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Hines. Good evening to your listeners. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and it's good to have you. Well, of course, you know what is it we want to talk about tonight. You alerted the world to some dangerous and strange happenings a few days ago, and it all culminated in what the government of Guyana admitted that they dispatched the policeman or maybe other people to the United States, and they gave a version of what happened. And I noticed Mr. Jack Dio today, in his press conference, gave his version of what happened. We want to get from you what exactly happened. Walk us through from the beginning. When did you realize something was amiss?
Well, first, let me respond. Let me say that I find it very instructive that Barrett Jack there today had so much knowledge about this case and these fraudulent charges, which confirm that he has been orchestrating this whole bogus set of charges against me behind the scenes. He was acting as the prosecutor, he was acting as the judge, and he was acting as the police. He confirmed that this case is going to go forward, whether Burke is there or not. That's the role of a magistrate. He confirmed that this matter will be prosecuted. And he defended the police. He had details about this so-called service. How did he get that? And as Vice President of Guyana, he violated the law by commenting, interfering on a matter that is sub judice before the court. So I found that very interesting, and that's for the lawyers in Guyana to think about. So what happened? From a few days now, I kept noticing that I was being followed. There were all sorts of people in the vicinity of my home. I'm going to send you some photographs of that. My neighbors also observed that. And because of that, I had security. And I kept informing the police and the FBI of what has been happening. About a week ago, I came home from a Christmas party about 3 a.m. I wasn't alone, there was a vehicle behind me. And as I pulled up home, my security lights came on and I saw a tall, dark-skinned gentleman standing across the street from my house, for either holding a phone up, either filming it or taking pictures. So I pulled up hard, put on my my high beams, and the person dashed off. Kind of walking first, and then they just dashed around the corner and ran into a waiting getaway car, and they dashed off. We chased them down, we got that information, and we provided it to the police. Just after that, we got a tip from a police source in Guyana that the Guyana Police Force, on instructions of Barrett Jagdeo and the Attorney General, was secretly filing charges against me in 2 magistrates' court. And that the plan was that I would not be told of these charges. The magistrate would be misled to believe that I did not show up for court and that I committed crimes in Guyana, and they would proceed to seek an arrest warrant and then try to extradite me. That's what the person said. And everything the person said, I passed that information on to my attorney, Nigel Hughes. And everything the person said turns out to be true. The other thing the person said is that senior police officers have been bragging that if politicians in America defended me, Barrett Jagdeo said he was going to bring them down. And Barrett Jagdeo said a version of that at a press conference in September, when he says that some Haitian man gave me $10,000 for the Washington conference and politicians should not associate with me because they're going to go down with me. And so what their plan was to smear me, criminalize me, demonize me, to the point where American politicians would want to disassociate themselves with me. And the government of Guyana will call on the politicians to disassociate themselves with me. So that's what the police officer told us. Now, on Saturday, the 16th, I'm Seventh-day Adventist, I was preparing to go to church. And again, I was not alone. I was with somebody who's a licensed firearm holder. And it's a good thing it was a Sabbath and we were disciplined, because something terribly could have happened on Saturday. So as I opened my door, we were aware that these people were outside in a car parked across the street. When the young man who came to pick me up came, he observed them. As a matter of fact, Sarabo was outside of the vehicle pacing.
Who's Sarabo?
Sarabo is a police officer from Guyana that they sent here, which the police has now admitted that they sent here, Rodwell Sarabo. And he alerted me. And so after I was ready for church, we exited. I opened my door, and from the time I opened my door, Sarabo and another gentleman, looked like of mixed race, kind of curly hair or Caucasian, heavy set, jumped out of a small white SUV and dashed across the street straight into my yard, straight up my step. Like you know, like when the police is coming to do a raid, and in that kind of fashion. And this light skinned guy, Sarabo had a phone just like the person the night in front of my house, recording what they were doing. And this light skinned gentleman, who we now have identified as one Mark Wasserman, who's a disbarred attorney, pled guilty to 8 charges and was disbarred, and now he's doing civil court processing. I mean, that's what he does. If you sue me for $10,000, he comes and he serves that. That's what he does. So he ran up my stairs or walked up fastly. He moved very quickly straight to my door as I was opened it. My colleague went down the step and was probably marking Sarabo because he was at the bottom of the step by the fence taping. And so I said to him, "Excuse me, please leave my yard." And he completely ignored me. All he said was, either, "Are you Rickford Burke or you're Rickford Burke?" And I completely ignored him. He was pushing something in my face. It looked to me like a board of some sort, like a clipboard.
Clipboard, yes.
Like a clipboard, something like, right. And I just looked at him, as if he was crazy. And I perceived he was on the left side of my step, and I was on the right side of the step. And I asked him for an excuse. I said, "Excuse me, could you leave my premises?" He was actually obstructing me. He had it in front of me. He had to move this thing like he was pushing something in my face. And so I looked at him and I said, "Excuse me." And when he saw that I was serious, he kind of moved to the side. I locked the gate and I descended down the stairs and exited the yard quite calmly. I support Jagdis, and I ran away. And I entered a car and we drove off, but we circled the block. When we came back around the block, as we were approaching, we saw him rambling through my mail. I don't know if he took photograph or if he was opening the mail or if he took a mail or if he planted something in the mail. And then he came, as he was coming down the step, he stopped and he was taking photographs or something. And then they went into the car and they exited. Subsequently, I called the police. The police came, they retrieved the document, they looked at it. Right away, the officer that read it went across the street to his supervisor and he said, "This is something from Guyana. They have no jurisdiction here, and this is evidence." So the police retrieved the document, and the police immediately called the FBI, and the police called the Joint Terrorism Task Force of New York. Subsequently, after we made this, and by the way, I forgot to say, both of them had guns. Both of them had guns.
Were the guns drawn?
The guns were brandished.
They were brandished.
The guns were brandished. And obviously, they were threatening us with the guns. And subsequently, we made this public. I was asked by law enforcement immediately not to say anything publicly until they were, they got situated in terms of their investigations, try to identify who these people are and all that. And then after we made it public, to cover it up, Guyana Police Force put out something saying that they sent an officer confirming that they sent these gunmen to my house. That's what the Guyana Police Force did. They confirmed that they sent gunmen to my house to commit crimes. They trespassed on my property. They were stalking me. They went through my mail, which is a federal crime, and they brandished and threatened me with firearms.
Rickford Burke here, walking us through exactly what happened. Rickford, they're saying in Guyana that this thing was served on you, you signed it, you went through all of that stuff. Tell us whether that's true or not.
Absolutely not. I did not see what they had. The guy was pushing a board or something in front of me. I completely ignored him. All he said to me, they did not identify themselves. They did not say anything else. And by the way, I was with someone, so I have a witness. Also, 2 of my neighbors were outside watching. So we have witnesses, we have photographs, we have videos. The Guyana Police Force also has a video, as they acknowledge. Sarabo was, Rodwell Sarabo, who's a police officer, was there with a video. I challenged them to put it out. Bar Jagdev said they had a video with me being read this thing and I ran away. I challenged them. Release it to the public. And let us see how disgracefully deceptive and deceitful and dishonest and mendacious the guy in the police force and the guy in the government is. No one read anything to me. They could not have read anything to me because I was leaving my house. And all of this happened probably within a couple of seconds. And when I left my house, he was still in my yard. He was still on my step as though he lived there. And when they thought that we had left, but we circled the block, then he decided to commit a federal crime by tampering with my mail on behalf of the government of Guyana. On behalf of the government of Guyana, because the Guyana government has said now that they were their agents. So the Guyana government sent a police officer into a completely different jurisdiction. They've acknowledged that. They've acknowledged that they have breached the Constitution of Guyana, breached the laws of the United States, breached international law, sent a police officer gun blazing like a bounty hunter into my residence. And this could have gone very wrong. If this was not my Sabbath, it could have gone very wrong. And we immediately informed the White House, the State Department, Justice Department, the Attorney General of New York, and we continue to notify, we've notified our members of Congress, and we continue to notify the relevant authorities. I spoke to a senator today who said to me that he is going to call on the Justice Department for an investigation, and they're going to call, I'm going to press charges. I'm going to press criminal charges against Mr. Sarabo and Mr. Wasserman, who already has a criminal history or has a history of violating the law.
Of course, there are lots of legal issues here, and I don't expect you to comment on those tonight. I'm going to try to get somebody like a Paul Slow, who will comment it from the police standpoint, and one of the lawyers, if not tomorrow, then certainly after the holidays. But there are issues here. It seems to me from a layman's standpoint that if a police from another country is going to go through a procedure in another country, you have to inform the police in that country because you're going into their jurisdiction. That's just off the top of my head.
Well, not only inform, they cannot operate in this country. They can ask the police here for help, and they can't serve anything. They can't ask the New York police to serve anything. This is a country. We have a federal government. Yeah. They have to go through the federal government, and they've already tried that. They went to the federal government, complained, asked them to arrest me or whatever it is for issues or for matters for which I am constitutionally protected. They want the government of the United States to arrest me for criticizing Bar Jagdev and the government. They claim that I committed sedition. And let me tell you one of the things that they told the federal government about. They claim that I called on the people of Guyana to burn down Georgetown. First of all, this is America. We have free speech. Anybody can say what they want so long as they don't violate the law. But the Constitution allows free speech. A foreign government cannot reach into the United States to claim that my speech, which is constitutionally protected, is unlawful in that country. If that were the case or allowable, every person in every part of the world will have to obey every law in every other country. That doesn't make sense. Secondly, this is how deceitful and dishonest they are. One of the things they claim is that I said burn down Georgetown. I never said anything like that. At a rally that CGID had, some person was on stage singing a soca song. That soca song, if the city would burn down, we jamming still, and the person said Georgetown and burn down something. Not even me. And the government of Guyana said that was me and I committed sedition. First of all, that person has a freedom of speech guaranteed by the Constitution. Second, there are about 1 million places in the world called Guyana, called Georgetown. How can the government of Guyana say that somebody was saying burn down Georgetown? I mean, this is how foolish they are. And this is the kind of nonsense they submitted to the United States government. And the United States government promptly cautioned them that their actions are in violation of my constitutional rights. So they can't go back through that route. So and Barrett Jagdale outlined it today. That's how you know he is the orchestrator.
Rickford, let me stop you. You're in good company. As a little mini historian, way back in 1987, there was some shortage of gasoline, and the gas stations were hoarding gasoline. And EUC Kwayana said, you know, if the gas stations offend you, burn them. And right away, the government of the day said he was calling to burn down the gas stations. They were not students of Calypso, because that very year, 1987, Black Stallion sang and won the crown with a song called Burn Them, Burn Them, Burn Them. Peter, Peter, if you see the big belly fella from Suriname, come, Bonnie. And Peter, Peter, look the woman who sent troops in Africa, Bunshi. And so Kwayana was quoting from Black Stallion, burn them. Black Stallion was, of course, using the Rastafarian. And of course, the government had, you know, an embarrassing laugh at the time, because Kwayana, of all people, calling to burn down thing. But again, here is the song. I mean, you know, the Calypso genre and the reggae genres always use the term burn. With the Rastafarians, it's quite interesting that they're seeking to charge you with somebody, or even if you had said it.
But the thing is, as you said, they're completely applying what the song says. Nobody's going to say, nobody's saying burn down anything. What the song says is, even if the place is burning down, we jamming, we partying. So that's the message of the song, and that's what the person was saying. But it has nothing to do with me. But they're so malicious, and they're so desperate to get Rickford Burke, because how dare he speak out about our racism? How dare he speak out about our corruption? And how dare these Black people who are elected officials in America back him? So we're going to bring them down. I mean, this is why, let me say this. Every Black person and every person who's opposed to this government, whether Indian or Amerindian, they're in danger. This government is a threat, a massive existential threat to Black people. And all of us will have to stand up. All of us must stand together. This is an attack on the African Guyanese population by a racist government, by an ethnocracy led by some vicious, racist hooligans who don't want to govern. They don't want to administer governance. They want the money. They want the money of the country. They want to transfer the wealth of Guyana to their East Indian supporters, to themselves and to their families. And anybody who gets in their way, they want to abuse the law and the police process to get to them. Now, let me say this. We obtained the file. They claim that I extorted money from Jagdeo, say dozens of businessmen, right? All I did was advocate for BM Soot to stop predatory practices against their customers and reimburse the customers that they robbed, that they defrauded. That's what I did publicly. And they call in BM Soot and tell him, file a complaint that I'm trying to extort that money from him. And you know what he had to do? He gave a statement. He had to go back 3 more times. And every statement he embellished. Every statement he added something. We have the statements. The FBI has the entire file. And there is not one allegation against me. The people who they charge the guy that don't even know me, I don't know nothing about these people. Not one. The police said to me, but there's nothing in here against you. Where is this extortion come from? No claim. All some Asab Muhammad said was that he had a conversation with me and he was scared at the end of the conversation. He called me, and he had his brother call me to ask me if I would adjust the social media post that we put on, and they're going to try to solve the matter. That's it. That's it. And they had James Bond trying to negotiate with the people that they owe and all of that. Clean. James Bond is out, right? These are the people that James Bond called me on their behalf and was begging me to take down the post because over 1,500 people came on the post and attested to the fact that they defrauded them. So the post exposed them. And then they said Rickford Burke was trying to extort money. And to face this reality that a bunch of racist East Indian people can get some black house slaves in the Guyana police force. I'm not mincing my words. To fabricate charges. Fabricate. I am in America. And because they want me to stop talking, they got corrupt police officers in the Guyana police force to fabricate charges against me. And now they want to co-opt the court system, co-opt the judiciary, co-opt the American justice system to help them perpetrate this fraud, right? This plot, this criminal conspiracy to frame me, have me kidnapped, have me killed, all sorts of discussions they're having. And people, Dr. Hines, are communicating with us. Police officers, dozens of them, are communicating with us. I want to say that. They're communicating with us. They're the ones telling us. They're police officers. And I thank them. I thank all of the police officers who have been passing information on, observing what they're doing. And let me tell you what. They know that they have no evidence that anybody committed a crime. And they're just upset because BM Sot, Afsab Mohammed and BM Sot, they're East Indians, they support the PPP. And so what they did is they have a certain officer going around calling people who have been charged to ask them if they're willing to give a false statement against me, implicating me in some crime, and they will drop the charges against them. They have approached, several police officers have approached attorneys making this offer. I rather suspect that that's a crime. That's conspiracy. That's conspiracy to commit perjury or suborning perjury. And at some point in time, it's going to come out. We have police officers, Dr. Hines, who have submitted affidavits testifying to what the government is doing to the FBI, not to me, to the FBI. This investigation has been going on for a long time. And now it's reached ahead where it is clear transnational repression. You have Guyana police force admitting that they sent a police officer to act like a bounty hunter, to threaten me with a firearm, to run up in my home, to trespass in my home, to stalk me, all of which are crimes. And the Chinese government officials were just charged in America for that. Last week, the Indian government, I think a very senior person at the level of probably vice president, and some Indian nationals here were charged with harassing and threatening Indian nationals in America. Exact same thing. And now we have the government of Guyana. And let me say this, Burke Jagdeo was threatening members of Congress. Just before we had the Washington conference, Burke Jagdeo said that he dares any member of Congress to go to the conference and he's going to deal with them. Then subsequently, he said he's going to bring them down. When he bring me down, he's going to bring them down, right? And this is a proxy war they're trying to pick with members of Congress. This is what this is about. They want to attack me to see who member of Congress would stand up for the rule of law, and then they will go and get their lobbyists to go to the Republicans and say, oh, somebody is backing Burke and Burke is a wanted criminal. But I will leave them in the hands of the Justice Department.
Rickford Burke here tonight walking us through the ordeal that he has been through in recent times. And of course, this has been ongoing for years. The government of Guyana has continued to harass Mr. Burke, and they've taken it to a new level. Let's take a little short break and refresh our memory a little bit.
What you want to hear? What? What you say? us. This one for the lady before burn them. See if you recognize this one. Hear this. Hear me. Fire burning, fire burning, fire burning, fire burning. I ain't hear you. What you say? What? Fire burning. What? Fire burning, fire burning. One more time. Fire burning, fire burning, fire burning, fire burning. One more. Fire burning. Shadow. What fire? This one for you. Judgment morning, I'm at the gate and I'm waiting. Cause I'm begging the master, and give me a walk with Peter. That all sinners coming, with them I go be dealing. Because the things that they do me, I've also fixed them personally. Peter looks at the road by the gate. Peter looked the Englishman, we sent at the road to Africa land. Peter, take rally, but leave Victoria for me. Peter can just don't care what you say. Mussolini, he can't get away. Why? Break fire. You don't know, because that I undergo from this madman and woman, I feel the full weight of their hand. When they don't oppress the law, they never care about the poor. Peter, these people had a day, well now it's time for starting to play. Peter, look at us sit by the gate. Peter, I don't want her to make fuss, remember I was pretty for Columbus. Back to Peter, look the woman. Peter can just look at what you do like Reagan going in it. Why? This is my time.
Burn them. Peter. Listen, there can become a time. There become a time when we will have to burn them. These people, the things that we undergo, we got to burn them. Rickford, in all of this, has the police force in Guyana contacted you?
Never.
Wow.
Never. The police force is not driving this. This is being driven by Bar Jagdale. Bar Jagdale has been calling around in New York to ask people for information about me. I get these reports all the time. And police officers overhear conversations where senior operatives at CID make comments about what Barrett said or what who said and what they're going to do and stuff, and they pass that information to me. And you know, we have already gotten tons of information about Officer Rodwell Sarabo, some of his activities. Right, just this minute, somebody's texting me about him coming to the home with a fake search warrant and doing the exact thing. But what they would not get away with, The Attorney General thinks that he's gotten away coming here to advocate for me to be killed. And then the same Attorney General, who is under investigation for plotting to have me killed in New York, wrote the US government and told the US government that I should be extradited so that he could kill me there. And the fact that they can send gunmen to my house and admit it, the arrogance, they can put a man on a plane. I could have, if, and let me say this, Dr. Hines, and I mean this very seriously. If I did not have my colleague with me, I am pretty sure they probably would have tried to shoot me and claim that I attacked them. I am pretty sure that's what they sent Sarabo to do. They sent Sarabo to come up here, play under the guise that he's trying to serve a warrant to try to shoot me and claim that I attacked them. Why else would they have guns ready, brandishing them? Why would Wasserman rush up my step as though he is a bounty hunter? So this is serious. This is them coming with a plot to assassinate me or whatever they plan to do in the United States of America, and then using this warrant as a cover. There's no way a magistrate from vigilance could issue can order them to travel to New York. She doesn't have that power. And if you read the statement from the Guyana Police Force very carefully, it says that the magistrate instructed them to serve me with this summons. Dr. Hines, my lawyers in Guyana have advised me that the police force misled the magistrate they're claiming that on court documents, they have that I committed the crime in Guyana and I live in Guyana. Mm-hmm. That's what the police document says. I committed the crime in Guyana and that I live in Guyana. So the magistrate is probably thinking that I am not coming to court and I live in Guyana and that I was served with this thing because that's their conspiracy. They want to lie to the magistrate that I commit a crime and I live in Guyana so that the magistrate could issue an arrest warrant and then they could have a ex parte trial. That's what Burke Jagdale said. Burke Jagdale declared that the trial will go on. He is the judiciary.
Whether you're there in Guyana or not, clearly there's
yeah, he said that. So that is their plan. And the police officer that contacted us told us that. And since last week, I provided this information to my attorney, Mr. Hughes.
Rickford Burke here tonight, giving us a blow-by-blow account of what happened. I'd like to welcome all of you down to Politics 101. I know it's close to Christmas. You are preparing for the festive season, but you all are still out in great numbers, continuing to support our programming. And of course, it's that time of the year when we come to you, Politics 101, to ask you to support our program. What you call them, the handles, they're there, the Cash App handle, the PayPal handle, the Zelle, and all those things. Please contribute, make a donation, make a donation to our program. We come to you twice per year. We come at Emancipation Time and at the end of the year to ask for your support in keeping our programming going so that we can continue to hold the government accountable. And a number of you have already contributed, and we have been thanking you as we have been going along. And we want to encourage the rest of you to, in the spirit of goodwill, please contribute to our program. We know that there are several programs, and you have to share it around. But whatever you can contribute to Politics 101, we are eternally grateful. I know there is somebody I intend to thank. Monique, I want to thank you, Monique. I want to thank Lynette. I want to thank Patricia. I also want to thank Delnay. I want to thank Cheryl. I want to thank Sean, and I want to thank Roxanne, among others, for making their donation to Politics 101. Thank you all in advance. My brother, these are, of course, trying times, and your life is on the line. And this is extremely serious because you are not doing this for yourself in terms of standing up to the government. You're doing it on behalf of your people, on behalf of your country. So the supreme sacrifice to make. And what the government is ultimately trying to do is to shut you up, to get you.
No, I think they're trying to get me killed. I think they want to kill me.
Yes,
right.
But I mean, the objective in trying to get you
right
killed,
is to shut right
is to get you out of the way so that you do not continue to do what you're doing. There must be something that you're doing that is hurting them as a government. Just reassure our people that you're taking good care of yourself in terms of your security. We hear from you that you have things, but that you are going to continue to stand on the side of justice.
Well, let me tell you, the day when this occurred, the police had a patrol at my house. I sent you some videos there about the. I'm not sure if you have them, with the police response. And I've been from since Anil Nanlao made the threat against my life. The federal officials have been with me, being in communication with me constantly. Updates, I update them. Same thing with NYPD. When this matter happened, immediately they knew immediately what to do. Contact the terrorism task force, contact the FBI. I've been in touch with the FBI. I'm meeting with the FBI tomorrow again. I had a meeting with the detectives yesterday. I'm having another meeting with the detectives today. Yesterday, I identified who these suspects are, which is Rodwell Sarabo and Mr. Mark Wasserman. They committed serious gun crimes in New York. They were stalking me. That's a felony. They trespassed on my property, and then we have mail fraud, and that's a serious federal offense. I've been in touch with the federal postal police, and so I'm taking this seriously. I wish Barry Jagdale luck in his orchestrated campaign to dehumanize me and criminalize me. And let me notice this: all of the East Indian media, I call it the ethnic media, ran with this story. None of them carried out a response, which shows that there's an orchestrated, carefully orchestrated campaign to smear us Afro-Guyanese in Guyana and in the diaspora. This is a serious issue. I'm not going to hold back. This is a group of people, ethnic supporters of the PPP, and they're Indians and Amerindians who don't support this. But this is what is happening. There's an ethnic cabal, a cult, a PPP ethnic cult in the country that despises Black people, Afro-Guyanese. That's why they're so disrespectful and contemptuous of the African American politicians. And then they run up here and they rub shoulders with them and they take pictures, but they're really contemptuous of Black people. And this is an assault on all Black people. The Black members of the Guyana Police Force. This is an assault on the Black members of the GDF that they are calling to go to the border when Venezuela was. Why didn't Barry Jack there with gusto take Sarabo and all these people, and go to the border? They were hiding in Georgetown until I called them out for hiding in Georgetown like cowards and not going to Essequibo. That's when they ran to Essequibo, right? But no, let them Black people go and die. Look, we had a helicopter crash, right? Out of 7 people, 6 were Black. That's the kind of casualty we will have. It is time the Guyana GDF go to Region 6 and recruit some people. Go to Region 5 and recruit some people. Go to Region 2 and recruit some people. This is the hard truth they don't want to face. That's why they want to kill me. That's why they want to send gunmen from Guyana all the way to run up in my house, break U.S. law, break international law, disrespect, demonstrate contempt for the people of New York and the United States, and come up in my house with guns so that I cannot say what I just said. They are disrespectful of Black people. This is an assault on Black people. This is assault on Afro-Guyanese and everybody else who don't support them. And they want us to go and sacrifice for the country.
Yes, and of course, I noticed one of the news stories today in one of the newspapers pointing out the number of people who are accused of committing offenses in Guyana and have fled the country, and that the police have acknowledged that they know that these people are outside of the jurisdiction, but not, and they commit murder. Some of these people are accused of committing murder.
I saw that, the Kaitro News, yes.
Kaitro News, some of them high-profile murders, and they have not sent Mr. Sarabo or any other Bo behind those people.
Because they can't. Because they can't. They want to attack me. And Dr. Hines, I want to make it clear. This is not about me. This is Barrett Jagdeo initiating a fight with Black elected officials so that he could go to Republicans and quote unquote bring them down. Well, I wish him good luck, because I think he's going to bring himself down in the process.
He's going to bring himself down in the process. Brother Drew, I noticed you said some of the Kwekwe songs that we played early in the program should be written down and so forth. I did publish a slim booklet with a sample of these songs way back. I think it must have been 20 odd years ago. I will have to republish that book, because you're quite right. A lot of these songs are not put to paper. You know, we have the videos and so of them. But I will take your challenge and pull that little book and probably add some more songs to the booklet, to the anthology, and do a new edition of them. Thanks for the idea, and thanks for all the wonderful comments and support that you all are expressing here for Mr. Burke. Thank all of you who are expressing support for our programming. As I have said repeatedly, when the history of this period will be written by your children and your grandchildren in another 20, 30 years, we will find that this was a defining moment in our country's history, because we are doing things that we never did before. We are holding a public meeting right now with close to 2,000 people live, a public meeting now. And you get to hear Rickford Burke live addressing you. This is what is sending tremors down the spine of the government, because they know that we are speaking directly to you, the people, and you are speaking directly to us. It's a mini revolution in political communication that is going on right now, and the government is the weaker for it. We all know we want to see their backs, but we have to break the back of the government, and that's what we're doing, bone by bone. Every time they step out of line, we are there to be a barricade. We are there to expose them. At another time, they would have gotten away with trying to assassinate Rickford Burke. In this time, it's out in the open. Brother Rickford, closing thoughts.
Well, first of all, I want to remind everybody that I left Ghana as a teenager, and I came to the United States. I've lived here since 1992, for 31 years. The last time I went I've been back 4 times. The last time I went to Guyana was 1998. I have devoted myself to championing the cause for democracy, justice, and civil rights for my people, and I'll continue to do that boldly. I'm emboldened by the fact that they're coming after me, and I'm undeterred. They'll have to kill me to silence me. That's not a good proposition for them, because I'm not sure when they do that what's going to happen to them. But they have lied. Again, my attorney said to me, they have filed documents claiming that I live in Guyana and that I committed these crimes in Guyana. And the police force issued a statement yesterday with a warning to all Guyanese who live abroad. If you commit crimes, meaning if you condemn this government, if you criticize this government, we're coming after you in the same way. Exactly. That's what the Guyana Police Force said. And all the people are quiet. Nobody's picked this up. This is the Guyana Police Force threatening Guyanese abroad. Threatening Guyanese abroad. Instead of using the oil money for the benefit of the people, they're using the oil money to fortify themselves. You know why we were caught off guard with Venezuela? Their intelligence is looking inward. Their intelligence is looking at Aubrey Norton and the opposition MPs. They have no external intelligence. They have agents. They have declared me, the Ghana Police Force, the National Intelligence Director's Office, and the Ghana Defense Force have named me a person of interest. You believe that I killed somebody because I'm speaking out and because I'm Black. And they spent $61 million to pay a lobbyist in America to lobby the Congress and the government against me and against the Guyana, the conference on Guyana in Washington that you and I attended. Not one did they pay for lobbyists to lobby against Venezuela. Not 1 cent. They had no idea that this was coming. Their view of enemy is Black people. We Black people who are this racist government, we are the enemy. They don't even think Venezuela is an enemy. They spent not 1 cent, not 1 cent lobbying the United States government and Congress against Venezuela. They spent $61 million lobbying the United States government and Congress against me and against the Washington Conference. Merry Christmas. Thanks to all the support. I'm stronger than ever. I'm undeterred. I'm emboldened. And I'll go forward in 2024, Dr. Hines, and your supporters and your listeners with greater zeal to make sure that we accomplish justice and equity and equal rights and justice in Guyana.
Rickford, Burke, thank you very much, my brother, and season's greetings. If I don't speak to you before Christmas, I know it's just a couple of days around, to make sure that you take part in the festivities. I don't know how the 7 Days Adventists treat with Christmas. I know there's
we celebrate Christmas.
You do celebrate Christmas.
Yes, we do.
We'll celebrate Christmas. Thank you very much. So have a good one. And if there is anything, any breaking news, any development, please reach out to me so that we can have you on.
Absolutely.
People. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you.
Rickford Burke, dear fighter. All of us are indebted to him and the work that he continues to do and the bravery that he shows in doing that work. We, of course, give him our full support. And I want to thank you all for coming out yet another night. Tomorrow night, we're going to be on. We're going to close off after tomorrow night. I'll try tomorrow night to see if I get some of the legal and police people on to really walk us through the police and legal aspect of this case, because there's more to it, as Rickford has alluded to, than just what they're doing. And again, I want to thank those of you who have answered the call to donate to our program. And I want to urge the rest of you who have not done so, please donate, no matter how small. Of course, we would like it to be large, but no matter how small, your donation is very much welcome. Love as always, always, always. Without you all, we could not, we cannot continue to do what you're doing. Your mere presence in your hundreds is a testimony to how much you are sacrificing for your country. And it's the time when our country needs us, a time when our country is up against it. And we need all of our people in body, in material help, in moral support. We need you. If I don't speak to you all before Christmas, some of you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. But we're going to be on tomorrow night for our last show before Christmas. And then we'll come back probably for a couple of shows in between Christmas and the New Year. But we don't want to get in the way of your celebrations. We know that once you go off on Saturday, it's Saturday, Sunday, and then Christmas is Monday, and then Boxing Day and Tuesday, and then, you know, the couple of days in between, and then it's Old Year's and New Year's and so on. And we are not going to impose our politics on you, but allow us to celebrate. So until tomorrow night, I want to thank you again for staying strong and staying with us, and continue to support us, continue to stay with us, continue to keep watch with us, and continue to mobilize with us so that we can see the back of this government, and that we can start all over again, pick ourselves up, as the Calypsonian Gypsy said, dust ourselves off and start all over again. I love you all so very much, and thanks for the support again.